Welcome to Winning in the Shadows. We're breaking down PFL 2024, week one of the playoffs. So, very important. Point system is out the window here. So now it's win in advance, and this is what we keep telling people that the books miss this. they mess this up all the time. It doesn't necessarily give us a great value this week, but just know that you don't need to pay attention to the point system. Everyone that is fighting is advanced, and if you win, you're in. You advance, and if you lose, you are out of there. So what we're going to do here is we're going to break down the prelims, just kind of one at a time real quick, and then we'll go a little bit more in depth into the main event. Michelle Montague and Marilia Moraes. Here's what you need to know about Moraes. She fought in 2018. And then she didn't fight until 2023, where she got promptly knocked on her ass. And she's fighting Michelle Montague, who has won every single one of her fights by rear naked choke. The writing is on the wall. Montague trains with Kayla Harrison, doesn't she?
Yep.
Like, this is an ass whooping.
Under 1.5. You can't play Montague at 1,800. In PFL, you got to take shots, man. You just have to. We've said this before. You bet it differently than UFC. I don't like under 1.5s in UFC. Under 1.5 when it comes out if it's playable, and pay attention because the lines will move quick.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. We learned that this week. Jordan Oliver and Braden Akeo. Jordan Oliver is one of these guys that PFL is very, very high on, even though he's only 34. They like him. I'm guessing it's Jordan Oliver or nothing on this one, right?
Yeah. They've had him booked, twice, and both times the guys pulled out the week of the fight. It's because they knew they were about to get their brains beat in and out wrestled. Jordan Oliver should take this guy down, and he probably should get the submission, I would say, within 2 rounds. He's not going to have anything for Jordan Oliver. Could he land a flash knockout? Yeah, but this is a setup. Jordan Oliver.
Montague by finish, Oliver by finish. You could find much, much worse parlay pieces. Thad Jean undefeated versus Chris Brown. This is the fighter, not the singer. Although the singer has been accused of being a fighter a couple times, unfortunately. Chris Brown, LFA, he had a chance to jump up in competition against Carlos Leal. Lost a split decision. You and I both thought Leal won pretty convincingly. I will also say he also stepped up in competition against Bahamondes. Lost a split decision. I went back and watched it. I thought Bahamondes. It's interesting. I thought Bahamondes looked bad in that fight, but you kind of realize that Bahamondes is the up and comer. Like, he's getting better with each and every fight. But to me, it just says a lot that Chris Brown has stepped up twice in competition and has lost both of them. Thad Jean. We like Thad Jean, don't we?
We like Thad Jean. We've liked Thad Jean from the beginning. The guy has all the physical gifts. I think he makes pretty good work of Chris Brown. I don't think Chris Brown's an awkward fighter. He can make this fight look weird. So I wouldn't be like all in by Thad Jean first round knockout. And we've seen Thad go to decision. He knows he can. So, it's about getting the W for him. Be careful with your props in this one.
But it's a great point because Chris Brown fights awkward, but it's like not even on purpose, and that almost makes it even more awkward. It's like a sloppy Wonder Boy stance. It's this karate thing, except it's not really that like dialed in and sophisticated. Whatever. Elvin Espinoza, Mads Burnell. Mads Burnell is here.
He's making me mad. Is what he is.
He's on the prelims when he just beat Clay Collard, who's on the main card. Because Clay Collard is the most exciting man in fighting. I don't know if you all got the memo. What are we doing with Elvin Espinoza and Mads Burnell?
I'm a huge fan of Mads Burnell, and I just can't pick one of his freaking fights right this season. He's been my enemy. He has been my enemy. Went big on Clay Collard in the main event, and that was a big L. Went big on him against Michael Dufort. He was getting the exact fight that he wanted. He was ready to turn it on. He gets hit with a body shot and then crumbles up and gets submitted. It just, I can't get one right. Should Mads Burnell win? Yes. Every Mads Burnell fight, you could say, should he win? Yes. I just don't know if he does. He should beat Espinoza. If I have to pick somebody, I'll pick Burnell, but I'm not betting a Mads Burnell fight for the rest of the season.
There you go.
I don't care if he gets a fight on the finals card. I'm not betting it.
Danny Sabatello is this big of a favorite? A little bit of an eyebrow raise on this one. He should win, but at -1,000, is that bettable? For me, no.
And not bettable. No, I'm not. What's a -1,000 going to do for you? We have seen Danny Sabatello not be able to finish a packed lunch, so we could be looking at an over in this. I know his opponent is not good, and he's not, but man, Sabatello is just the most. You want to talk about boring fighters? People complain about like Colby Covington. If you've ever watched a Danny Sabatello fight, he is an ankle biter in every sense of the word. Just diving at angles the whole fight.
Can you tell me your in our Discord? By the way, if you haven't joined the Discord, the Winning in the Shadows Discord channel for free. It's where we have all discussion. We got free plays, all that stuff. It's a very, very positive Discord channel. It's not full of nonsense. It's full of people who are looking to increase their bankroll, be professional about it, try and uplift and help each other out. It's not a bunch of trash talking, and it's a collaboration. It's ideas. So it's a really, really great Discord channel. We're really proud of it. So if you haven't joined that yet, go ahead and do the Winning in the Shadows Discord. What did you say about if you're watching a PFL and they didn't mention what was your line?
If you're watching a breakdown video for PFL, all these guys fought on the Salt Lake card. If they don't bring up the fact that their last fight was at altitude and everybody was gassed by the time they walked to the arena, turn the video off. Don't take anything away from the last fights, please, because we saw it plain as day. We had major problems with the altitude as soon as that card started.
It was the most frustrating PFL card we've watched. We've bet on since Jim and I have been doing this. Like it literally was. I mean, you're always going to have the one that bothers you, and that one was just it was a nightmare. So let's go a little bit more in depth here on the main card. Biaggio Ali Walsh, the golden child of PFL. He's got to get his striking defense much more polished. You can tell they're working on a lot of things with him. And the thing about Biaggio Ali Walsh, if you don't know, he's Muhammad Ali's grandson. I like him. He is super committed to the sport. He doesn't want to be known as Muhammad Ali's grandson. He wants to make a name for himself. They keep giving him the layup of layups with fights. And it feels like they're getting worse. Brian Stapleton, are you kidding me? Yeah. This is bad. This is kind of embarrassing, honestly, that they're giving Biaggio Ali Walsh. And you and I both agree this is all about cage time, isn't it?
It's about getting him the experience and the cage time. It's very similar to the Dakota Ditcheva treatment in the beginning. Now, skill level wise, I think Ditcheva's on a whole nother level as far as all around MMA. But we saw it in his last fight, man. We called it. They were going to get cage time. The wrestling came out of nowhere. His striking did not look great in that fight. As far as knockout power, his defense did not look great in that fight. But he did what he had to do. He stayed safe when the fight got hairy and got the decision. But I think that was the cage time.
But we think that was the instructions. Like, stop going out and killing guys. You're not getting any better. We need you to have some adversity. So you're only allowed to wrestle. You can't knock this guy out. So we think that's kind of what's going on with his camp. And
the gloves are
come on, man.
On this one, this is not going to be. Now
look at this poor guy.
Let's spin it a little bit here. Now let's spin it. Now this is all conspiracy and hypothetical, but. He has the knockouts. He went to decision. What's left to cross off his bingo card?
Submissions.
So I would not be shocked by one bit if they're like, all right, here's your practice. Go submit this guy. Hurt him on the feet and submit him.
I mean, this is a guy who he hasn't had any pro fights, and his amateur fights are just that. They're amateur fights. He's fighting in island fights. This last fight, they were wearing shin guards. It's really, really bad. So, Brian Stapleton, congratulations on your paycheck. It's going to be a fun little stint in the PFL, but I don't know if you're PFL. I guess you just got to keep doing that with Biaggio Ali Walsh, don't you? But at some point,
Like
you got to give him somebody that can fight back.
but he's only 1-0. So you get who
Oh,
you
come
can get.
on. Oh, come on. He was showcased on every PFL card,
This is
except he
the
was
argument. This is
deemed
the argument.
an
Yeah.
amateur. Look at that. PFL 10,
Yep.
9, 5, 2, 10. Like, they knew what
Amateur
they were doing.
fights televised at a national promotion.
Televised, and
The
you can
world
bet on him
promotion.
on the offshores.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
very amateur-esque. I don't remember being
There-
able to listen. I could bet on Biaggio and Walsh amateurs fights. I don't remember being able to bet Brian Stapleton versus Xavier Zell. So you forgive me.
They're gonna have to throw him somebody at some point, but it's gonna be a slow burn.
Got to sink or swim at some point. Brett Primus and Clay Collard, the most exciting fighter that's ever walked the face of the planet until you watch his fights and you realize that's complete bullshit. So, what do you make of Primus and Collard? You know these guys very, very well.
I do. This is gonna be an ugly fight for somebody. Either Clay Collard
That's a good
Brett
way to look at
Primus.
it. Yeah.
I know it's Clay Collard. Most of his fights go to decision. I think somebody gets finished here, man. If Primus gets his game going, we have seen Clay Collard get flash submitted by AJ McKee. It just
Flash submitted. There
I
was
mean, like boom, he's out.
Yeah, he was.
Fight over. It was a flash, and he was done. Loses that last fight to Mads Burnell. Didn't really need the win, so I don't put a lot of stock in that. Again, it was at altitude. Gets handed the toss-up of Pitbull. Pitbull almost knocks him out. And then Pitbull just has no cardio left, which you've seen so far. That's Pitbull. Brett Primus, on the other hand, getting wobbled by Solomon Renfro and cut up. That's a bad look. We do not like Solomon Renfro, especially at this weight class. So I think one of these guys is going to get their game off, and I would not be shocked to see a finish in this. I think if you bet it, you take the plus money. But I'm not betting a side in this.
So when I look at Clay Collard, I don't think the last loss is nothing. He can't get up. He can't get out of these clinches. Look at his last 4 fights. The Clay Collard, this is one that this is what PFL has told us that it's the most exciting fighter. Except I don't know the most exciting fighter who's lost 3, out of 4, especially in kind of boring. OAM, that was a boring fight. The Mads Burnell, that was a boring fight. AJ McKee didn't last long enough to be boring, but what do these 3 have in common? What do you lose by? Clinches, takedowns. What does he win by? Someone that's willing to stand there and bang, and if he doesn't get the first, Pitbull doesn't get the first round knockout, he's toast. The Burgos was kind of the same thing. We thought that was going to go the distance because they kept billing it as the most exciting fight ever, and it wasn't. This is just too big a hole in the game of Clay Collard. I think Primus has him. I do not like betting on these PFL guys that can't do anything with adversity in the clinch and the takedown game. I just watching him not being able to do anything against Burnell when Burnell took him down was just horrifying. It was just a horrifying look.
Come the third, it's tough. It's
really
not
bad.
In the third, yeah.
So I have Primus in this one, but the under, that's a good one because Primus gets to his back. Collard has no defense, but if Collard keeps it on the fight, he's probably going to knock him out. So
Primus is way open on the feet. We saw him wincing and shying away from shots. I mean, I don't like when I see what from either guy. I think we're good on an under there.
Gadzhi, Rabadanov, and Michael Dufort. Michael Dufort wrecked everyone's parlays last card. He was. I don't want to give him all the credit for wrecking parlays because pretty much everyone wrecked parlays. It was a mess, but man, it's really interesting because you look at this fight against Mads Burnell and you go, oh, he got the guillotine choke. That's good. But then he loses the Piccolotti where he looked terrible.
He looked horrible.
But then you go back and look at the Burnell and go, well, he looked terrible in the first round. He looked terrible in the first 30 seconds of the second round. So I think I may have switched my opinion. I think Dufort sucks. I'm actually going to go there. Dufort sucks and is completely overrated, and I think it's Rabadanov, and I don't think it's even close. What do you think?
I agree 100%. And I've said we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. We're
We're
gonna
gonna
get him.
get him.
I thought he was gonna win his last one because it was just such a softball with Piccolotti, who had nothing to fight for, no playoff chances, and he just phoned it in. Rabadanov is going to grind on this guy, and we've seen his cardio not hold up already. I don't think he's prepared what's coming forward. Now, with Rabadanov, how many times can you win in a row? Like we always say, it's a law of averages. At some point, you're going to get caught. I don't think Dufort's the guy to do it. Rabadanov is the favorite to win the whole thing, and I think he is going to expose Dufort's lack of cardio and lack of wrestling. Submission game's good for him, but wrestling, he's been hitting some softballs since his time in the PFL.
Rabadanov was one of the guys that I walked away from the Utah card, and I was like, all right, his cardio's good.
Yeah.
His cardio held up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was not much you could do on that card. Like, everyone was tired. Rabadanov kind of maintained the pace. He is not going to get tired. And we watched Dufort have too many holes in the game. So, Rob Wilkinson, and I'm just calling him Yags.
Mm-hmm.
I started writing my article, and I was like, Yags. I was like, that's a great nickname. We should just call him Yags. So before I get crucified in the comment section about my pronunciation of name, you're not going to get me trying to pronounce it. I'm calling him Yags. Rob Wilkinson and Yags here. I think we're getting a value on Rob Wilkinson. I like him to win. What do you think?
I'm going Wilkinson to win in this. I am. He seems like he's on a mission, man. We wanted to see what he was going to be like coming back after the suspension from steroids and all that stuff. I think he's looked great. Is his body different? Yeah. Like it 100% his body is different from last season. But it hasn't looked like it affected him. That last fight with Silveira was a cardio mess grind fest. Absolute grind fest. And he still managed to win it out. So for me to see that he could win a decision was very important when it comes to the PFL and PFL playoffs specifically. You don't need finishes. So Rob showed that he can gut through and win a cardio depleting decision at altitude. I think he wins this thing however he wants. I think come the second round, he's going to be fresher. He's got the crisper striking, the better power. If Yags cannot take him down and get on top of him, he is going to be in trouble because Rob Wilkinson's power has not gone away. It's still the same from before. And honestly, I think it's a much more well-rounded game this year than in Rob Wilkinson's past. I think he wants the redemption with the title. He's motivated. Great line under minus 200. I like Rob Wilkinson in this spot.
I do too. I mean, Yags, yeah, he won against Biong. Boy, were we so out on Biong.
He's pretty damn predictable.
Yeah, he's very predictable. And in Utah, that was about as bad of a situation as you could get for Biong. So Yags gets lamped there. Jacob Neto, who it turns out is a complete fraud. So, and you're right. Like Wilkinson, this is going to be kind of a trip up here if you don't realize what happened in this Utah card. Like we expected this to be a banger, and you could tell both guys from the very beginning were like, I can't do this.
45 seconds in.
We can't
it
strike.
It was obvious.
We're dead. So it's just like we're gonna hug and wrestle and we're gonna do whatever we can. That's a classic. You cannot take anything away from that fight. Both guys were like, just get me the hell out of here.
We're both in the playoffs. Can we just end this now?
There probably was a lot of that. Don't get hurt.
Yeah.
So I'm with you that Wilkinson. I like the Wilkinson on a mission to prove, hey, like I know I tested positive for everything that everybody else was on, but I like my chances here.
That's a good point. He tested positive for making it a fair fight.
Everybody tested positive for that. So if you guys could do me a favor, hit the like button. It really helps the algorithm out. Let's YouTube know that we're doing a good job for everybody. Leave a comment. Tell us who you like in the PFL. Don't forget to join us for the Takedown Live. I will be live on Friday for PFL, and then Jim and I will be live for the Australia card, UFC 305. Had a fantastic live show on Dana White Contender Series. We nailed Bruno Lopez at plus 154. That was one of our great ones. We were able to nail some picks based on the preview videos that we hadn't seen.
Yeah, the
before.
under 2.5 was our
The under
right?
2.5 was a great one when we saw one guy walking out who did not want anything to do with.
It was his cornermen.
Oh, that's right. He brought high school kids
Yeah,
to his
yeah.
corner. It was
His
like this.
cornermen looked like they were
This
like an
guy's
after
done.
school activity. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done. Meanwhile, the other guy brought
Ben Henderson.
Ben.
Yeah. Ben Henderson.
I brought
We'll
Ben
go with him.
Henderson to my PF to my Dana White contenders fight. Who'd you bring? I don't know, my locker roommate.
Steven Matt.
The guy I shared locker with in high school. So, yeah. So the live shows, they are absolutely worth its weight. You nail one or two picks on the live show just by watching the live show, and they're worth it. And plus, they're just a hell of a lot of fun. They're really entertaining. So, all right, let's get to the main event. Two guys, man, do we know these guys really, really well. Impa Kasanganay, Josh Silveira. What are we doing with this fight?
I'd just like to say happy Impa Kasanganay Day to everybody.
Yeah, right?
We've had a couple of these over the past 2 years for Impa. Look, it's a rematch. Go with Impa. Why get off the train now? Why we are free rolling? We have picked every single one of Impa's fights correct. Not even just picked them the correct, but picked them exactly how they would go. The props and everything. I believe we even spoke about the decision against Silveira last season. It's like, just work them. You don't have to finish them.
Yeah.
The Johnny Eblin fight.
5 rounds. That was that was 5 rounds. So got cardio involved in that one.
And same thing with the Eblin fight, right? That was 5 rounds. And just really easy to predict with Impa. And I think he's the most well-rounded in this division. The step up to 205 has done him very, very well. That Neto fight, I feel like some people are a little worried about. Again, we were at altitude. And you want to know whose cardio didn't fail at altitude either? Impa Kasanganay's cardio didn't fail at altitude. We saw Neto get tired. And he got tired, he got put out. I don't see any improvements from Josh Silveira. Please fill us in on the mythical creature that is Josh Silveira in the PFL.
All right. So I'm going back to 2022. So he loses a decision to Amari. Fine. They give him the gift that is being able to fight Sam Key, who's probably one of the worst PFL fighters we've seen, who's gotten multiple fights. So he gets the win. He should. He fights Delon Monte. Delon Monte steps back and tears his knee. This was not something that Josh Silveira did. It wasn't a kick. It wasn't a wrestling move. Monte stepped wrong, stepping back. And because of that, Silveira gets credited with a round 1 knockout.
6 points.
6 points. He fights Ty Flores, who's kind of a journeyman. If you watch this fight, Ty Flores is starting to pull away in the first round, and you see Josh Silveira's cardio vanishing. If this was the bar of the video game of the energy, it was like, like he throws a Hail Mary knee that lands and Flores gets knocked out. If he doesn't land that knee, he is done. He's probably getting finished in round 2 because his gas was absolutely on empty. Then he completely gets fraud checked against Impa. Like, Impa puts a 5-round schooling on him. Silveira was lost. Impa just worked him on the feet, wrestling, whatever. Silveira never had a chance. So then what happens? Everybody and their mother bets on Sadabusi against Josh Silveira. Sadabusi puts his hand down as they're going to the ground and breaks his effing thumb in half. And Sadabusi, I'm still going to give Sadabusi shit about this. We've seen fighters fight with broken legs and torn knees and everything. Sadabusi tapped faster than Kiefer Crosby did. Like, he's just like, my thumb. And what happens? Josh gets credited with another round 1 knockout. And in the first minute, you see Sadabu, like, piecing him up on the feet. So Silveira does what he has to do, is just try and grab him and take him down. Sadabu breaks his thumb. The loss against Wilkinson, I don't put anything into that one, but we know who Josh Silveira is.
Josh Silveira looked like shit in that fight.
Well, he doesn't have cardio. Like, his cardio's done.
If that wasn't at altitude, that was going to be a finish for Rob Wilkinson.
Okay,
Wilkinson
I get
got
what you're
so
saying.
tired. He's like, the hell with this. I'm just going to wrestle.
Yeah. So Josh Silveira is this win should not have happened. Like the Ty Flores, credit to him that he landed the Hail Mary knee, but make no mistake, he was going to lose that fight. And then getting credit for the round 1 against Monte. Like, this guy's gotten 2 wins randomly out of these random injuries, and it's a great place, that Impa. I actually don't think Impa's going to finish him. I think Impa's going to take this to decision. I think Impa wins the striking on the feet, and then in rounds 2 and 3 he wrestles and saves his gas tank or the wear and tear for later on. That's my prediction.
I'll go head to head with you on that.
You think he finishes, Josh?
I think he gets a finish round 2, round 3.
Okay.
I think that Impa learned a lot from the previous fight with Josh, and there's openings.
Okay.
Impa has seemed a little bit more focused on getting these finishes this season.
Fair enough.
That'll be fun.
Fair enough. So, all right. So that is going to do it for us for the PFL video. Make sure you like and subscribe, please. It really helps us out. Also, don't forget to check out the Winning in the Shadows Discord channel, and all of our official plays can be found at wagertalk.com. Good luck on all your plays, and we will see everyone on the live shows Friday for PFL. Don't forget to subscribe to the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel so you can join us. You get notified when we go live for PFL and then for UFC on Saturday as well. Good luck on your plays. We'll see everyone later.
Good luck, guys.